Before I get on to this next video, just like to talk about the comments. So sadly, I cannot respond to comments. Trust me, I have tried, but that action is sadly forbidden on mine. So whenever I try to write, oh thank you so much, it'll be like, no, you can't do that. So I'm sorry guys, but I can't respond. But I will respond here, so you can listen to my voice, so it's better, I guess, because I'm here. Okay. First off, whoops, go back. Your local chaos gremlin, thank you so much for annotating my video. No joke. I'm so happy this happened. It's so nice. It's so fun. Look at all this. Oh my gosh, I love sharing theories. No, I do not have Tumblr. I have visited it once or twice and looked at it. No, you're not annoying me. I love hearing theories. And also, I feel like Adrian cares about Yasha in his own twisted way, even if he's not even if he's not good at showing it in any way, which I blame Leopold for, because Adrian doesn't have any models for a good mentor. Okay, good point. Adrian does not have any good role models, and since he grew up in the Elsewheres, he wouldn't know anything about training or anything, because his town barely knew about beasts. So of course he wouldn't know anything. Also, yes, that is your headcanon. I did look at it. Very nice headcanon. Yeah, maybe he did go into cardiac arrest. Yes, I read Wings of Fire when I was younger. I loved it very, very much. It was like a disease for me. Less like a disease and more like something that stopped an evil disease from entering my body. I loved it so much, and it was just my life. Also, fun fact, when I was younger, I was only obsessed with animals. So I'd watch and read a bunch of animal stuff. When I first read Wilderlore, I was like, where's all the violence? And I didn't know that animal shows and books get away with so much more violence because they're animals. And the same for masked characters in Star Wars. They get away with showing them dying because they're masked and therefore not human. So, Wilderlore is making some progress, but, Wings of Fire did a great toll on my stories, which I could get to later, because I want to share some of my OC lore. Anyway, I did remember some of the headcanons I have and theories. So first off, I think Cecily's gonna have to steal from someone at some point. They're gonna be okay, Cecily, the one time you get to steal something, and that's gonna be at the point where she's oh, but stealing is wrong, and I don't know if I can do it. And I assume they're gonna have to go behind Asfor's back, because she's not really a great grandkeeper either. She's better. She's way more efficient. But I feel like she's going to have to ban a lot of stuff from them. Or maybe she'll try to cut off all resources to help Barkley. I'm not saying she's starving him or anything. Just saying, anything that will help him learn about his wild lore. She might, leak that into public news. Because she did that before. So I feeling she's going to do that now. It's going to happen. Also, you know how Adrian was at the sea creating the vents to open that made Lockmordre angry? It happened around 1 to 2 years before the first book, and Conley dies 1 year before the first book because he was going to study Lockmordre. Maybe because of the weeping tide that was acting up. It's a bit wild, but it's a bit reasonable. Unless I'm missing something in the text, I feeling it's gonna be possible. Okay, I feeling it's gonna happen. Okay. Also, just to say that there was a Crane Wife song in one of the official playlists. And Runa fits every single Crane Wife song. Okay, it's an achievement if you can get a Crane Wife song to fit one of your characters, but let alone one character fits all of them. Wow. Amanda Foodie, you hit the jackpot there. You got the supportive mother, like an Ida type character, you know? Yes, I did watch Owl House. And then you got just Crane Wife songs, especially Scars and Curses for obvious reasons, because, we are always meant to fall apart. Kind of reminds me of Grand 3 and how no matter what happened, they would kind of break apart. And then Curses for, obvious reasons. I just imagine that's her and Grusha's song. And I do imagine a animatic to that one where it's Grush at the end of the table like, ashes, ashes, dust to dust. The devil's after both of us. Just like praying, all salt is on the table, and just Runa furious at the other end, like, shut up! Okay, shut up! So, yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's pretty good that they got her to fit all those. And I kind of want to talk about the other songs that fit, because I know there's a lot of good ones, and I feel like you should know about them. Now to get into my specifically Wilderlore dedicated playlist. Burning Pile is a Yasha song, because, he ruins everything around him by burning it. He's taking away all that he has because of himself, but in the end, he doesn't have to worry because everything's already ruined, and he won't have to worry anymore because there's nothing left for him to care about. Willow Tree March is a Wilderlore anthem. Repeat that. It's on every playlist. You can't escape it. Fish in a Birdcage, definitely Barkley. Definitely. Look at me in the eyes. I'm staring at the screen right now, so you're looking at me in the eyes and say that he doesn't fit that song. Yeah, you can't. Oh, I forgot to say, thank you for all the other commenters on my videos, like K Panda. I'm sorry I forgot the rest of you. I'm so sorry. But I love you all very much. Buddies, like virtual fist bump, okay? Virtual fist bump. I'm fist bumping the screen right now. We're friends, all right? We're best friends. Wolf. That is also kind of a Barkley song. Kind of reminds me of how he's worried about, Runa and Cyril. He loves them, but, they're kind of gaining depression. And I don't think that's really good for them. This Man Will Be the Death of Me. That's a really good song, and it really mits Runa and Adrian. It does. Because he's kind of, again, like the devil imagery. He is like the devil. So, death of everybody. Soldier, Poet, King. Obviously, Barkley, Viola, and Tig song. We know exactly who is who. Barkley is a soldier, Tig is the poet, and Viola is the king. It's just built for it. Fisticuffs, Mara and the Mainsail. That's a really good song, and it reminds me of, like, Adrian training Yasha. And at the end, I imagine that's, like, when Yasha falls away from him, because he says, I don't want your pity. So I imagine other things like, oh, such a shame, you were such a good ally. Then, Yasha burst in the song like, I don't want your pity. Sing it, King. Little Lion Man, that's a Cyril song. Everybody tells him he's kind of worthless, so, I mean, I like to make fun of him, but I also want to say cut him slack. Don't cut him slack, make fun of him for as long as you want. Girl with One Eye. Yeah, that's my, Runa ripping out Adrian's ribs song. Yeah. I did want that to happen. And I want to draw that, even though it's very dark. I want to draw her, like, on the ground with him, like, sprawling out, with his hand in front of the screen, just her violently tearing out his ribs. It'd be even funny if he, like, regenerated them and, like, just slowly riz back up and stared her in her eyes. Come Along, Cosmo Sheldrake. Yeah, that song belongs to my OC, but it does fit Adrian. Adrian, it really does fit you well, but that my OC trademarked that song. He didn't, but like, he owns it. He owns it. It's his song. Keep You Safe, Crane Wives. Runa song, alert, alert. Calamity, Fish in a Birdcage, Justin Carter. Definitely Barkley and Adrian's conflict. It just fits them so well. Impacto, Tasu song, Queen of Nothing, Runa. Same as what she started, finishing it off. She's a queen of nothing. She gets nothing after everything. Curses, Crane Wife, Runa, Never Love an Anchor, Raslo, Anthem. I'm holding my fist up to the sky. It's the anthem. Everybody Knows. Yeah, that's Adrian, not Adrian, oh my gosh. Barkley's conscious, like, messing with his brain and telling him that everybody knows what he is and won't like him. And then I imagine, he's staring off into the forest, and then Soren just walks out, all bloody. Yeah, he cannibalized someone. He's like, yeah, everybody knows this where you've been, what you've done, who you've done it with. And the lyric, you got everything those wicked men are looking for. Yeah. Tough Kids, like I said yesterday. Your work isn't done. That's the main inspiration for my mermaid fan fiction. Problems. Yasha. He's got problems. And he's looking at Barkley saying, like, oh, you're such a perfect person, and I'm awful, and I ruin everything. Yeah? You notice something? I think he is the most traumatized character. I think we can all confirm, because, everything's so awful in his life. Just sad. I'm also creating a hammer, Adrian's hammer, to be specific. Maybe a cosplay. I just pronounced it like Barkley's name. Cosplay. So yeah, I'm gonna do a cosplay of him, because I kind of look like him. In a non-concerning way. I have wavy hair, and I think he has, like, straight hair. His hair is Cyril's body type. I think it's working. It took a lot for me to wrap that yarn around the handle, but it's working well. And also, yeah, I took a shoebox for my new shoes. Yeah, Barkley would freak out if he found out about cross country. He would love it so much. And I suffer. It hurts. Doing push-up. No, not push-ups. Planks on concrete. Anything with your knees on concrete is living pain. It's so sad. Tear falling down from face and plopping on puddle. I'm crying my entire ocean. Another thing I noticed. Cyril and Cecily look very similar. Does anybody else notice? They have the same body type, the same color hair, same eyes, and they come from the same place, around the same area. So we know that Cyril's family basically neglected him. They don't really love him. So I have a feeling those two... Wait, oh my gosh, I'm running out. Wait, can I go beyond the barrier? Can I go beyond? Yeah, I can go beyond the barrier. Okay. I have a feeling that Cyril may have, like, a sibling or a relative who is like Cecily's parent, and they clearly didn't tell her about Cyril because nobody loves him. Anybody else? They look very similar. I put this image on screen because it looks like Cyril. Obviously, you can see I searched up medieval bowl cut, and this is what came up. We know it. He's got the medieval bowl cut. You know, slaving away sowing those fields. Get it, King? Yeah! Now for Wilderlore, my weird AU where everybody's a weasel. I thought it was pretty neat looking. You know, weird broken whiskers. There's the lyrics to Fisticuffs, if you want to know. And here we go on to just my random favorites. I really like this one, you know, Time When He Ate Rats. I like that one. That one's really cool. I might draw that digitally. Burning Pile, and a Yasha sticker I made. Meme I saw on the internet. Calamity lyrics with comic. Doodles. Random doodles. Barkley and Root. Cecily and Cyril. Just father-daughtering. A Centaur World style. Yeah. Mermaid AU. Wow, I'm awful at this. Cecily with the jellyfish haircut. You wanted it. There you go. I couldn't contain my laughter on this one. That was weird. Something I made after my friends asked me to insert a photo of my favorite character. That thing. That devious little adorable baby. Cecily in all her glory. Again. The thing that I was doing. Cecily again in all her glory. We love her. We love her on this channel. Normal interaction, I guess. Tyke and Totals and Marmar. Totals is adorable. Cyril throwing a tree at Audrey, just like you asked for. Cecily Avior. Cool, right? And Mermaid AU and Mitzi. There was a drawing that I made of the Wilderlore characters and their beast. I only did one beast because I didn't want to do two. So I just did their main one. I used the Shazi one in a video about drawing animals anatomically correct. I'm really proud of the Cecily one and the Audrian one. And then we have Tig and Totals, the inseparable pair. Yawen, because I've never seen her drawn before. That one looks cool. And then the theory I had yesterday where Cyril just started vomiting everywhere. He probably went to cardiac arrest after that. So I want to talk about my OCs because, of course I want to talk about them. I love them very much. So on the screen on the left-hand side, you'll see, like, two redheads. Oh, by the way, did you see Audrian has rabies and that? Yeah, probably from eating rats. Anyway, those two redhead characters are part of the Ice Gate family, a family of dragon shapeshifters. They got that name from their ancestor who burned a hole with his fire through ice, and it made a gate, and then all the dragons were allowed to roam, and they made a city there. And Spencer was cursed when he was younger by a little bird guy at the bottom who's like screaming, "What happened?" He did not mean to curse him, but he just wanted to change because he knew that the Ice Gates rain, with their rain, they would burn down all the forests and, reign over all the world. So he cursed him, hoping that Spencer would change the Ice Gate family, but it didn't. And then when Spencer's mother, Spencer is the one with the weird medieval bowl cut, Spencer, when his mother died, his father took him and locked him in a cabin and burnt down the cabin. And then Arthur, the guy who cursed him, rescues him and takes care of him. Arthur is a winged, which is like a bird person. There's these magical bird people that take care of the world. And there's one that's like the father of all death, and he, controls over death, and he lives in the afterlife. And once wingeds use their powers, they lose their magical protection, and they can die, and he'll take them. So Arthur's being very cautious, and he's raising Spencer as greatly as he can. But, things are really rough because, he's an ice dragon, and he's fine with the cold, but he's freezing all the time. So here he is getting, frostbite, and he's having he can't digest his food properly. His body's colder than average, so he recovers from fevers and sicknesses way slower, so he doesn't want to eat a lot. He has a lot of problems. So Arthur creates a necklace for him made of his own feathers that he wears that will always keep him alive, though it doesn't mitigate the pain, because Arthur doesn't want him to have, painless life. He needs to know that things that hurt aren't good for him. Well, reasonable amounts. But he doesn't want Spencer to die because Spencer is very important. But as red scales, the type of dragon they are, invade near where the nest Arthur's keeping Spencer, he decides to leave because it's unsafe for them there. So they fly out, and then they go to the kingdom of the worms, the snake dragons. And then the worms are like, yeah, we don't want you here. You're not allowed here. You're a literal red scale. You're our worst enemy. You kill a lot of us. Your father wears a crown made of our old king's bottom jaw. It's cool, trust me. And then Henrik, who is a storm drake, and who is kind of siding with the worms. He used to be on the red scale side, but his antlers were cut off for trying to rebel, so he's kind of seen as a shame against the North. And then the red scales, who once lived in the North, took back capture of the storm drakes and removed all storm drakes. So Henrik sees Arthur and goes, wait, this guy helped in the war. We need to hospitalize him. And also Henrik, he is on Spencer's side, so he tells Rudy, the guard, that you need to soften up. So Rudy says, fine, we'll hold him for the night. But any longer, head's cut off, French Revolution style. And then, the worms find out and they say, this guy, we don't like red scales. And if the red scales found out that you're keeping Spencer, they're going to burn down an entire city. Which does happen. Oakley, who's Spencer's dad, is merciless and does not care, only for himself, which Spencer gets that from because he's a narcissist. And then Spencer and Arthur have to escape. Henrik gives them directions to a bog, which is safe, from what he says. And Rudy, who is curious, follows. She thinks, these guys, they got half of our city burned. We're gonna need to follow them because I want to kill him. And while she's sneaking with them in the bog, she finds a body. A bog body. And she lifts it out. She finds out, whoa, we are in wyvern territory. Because this person is a wyvern. Not in the dragon form, though. So she takes her out, and she has one of the feathers that Arthur has, and his feathers heal. So Rudy gives the feather to the wyvern. She's unconscious, so she won't tell, but it heals her, and she's like, what happened? Her city was also burned down, because wyverns are considered filthy. The winged that created them, Condor, father of all wyverns, is considered filthy among wingeds, the species that Arthur is. I already told you that, but since nobody likes Condor and nobody likes wyverns, Rudy's like, I don't know. They are kind of tricksters and they have a pretty bad reputation. So why would I be friends with a wyvern? Turns out Heidi, wyvern, is pretty chill. Spencer comes and he meets Rudy and he's like, well, what are you doing here? Who is this? And then he names the hiding the Wivey. Oh. He names the wyvern Heidi because it's a member of one of his family. What happens next? I forgot. Spencer, he knows a lot of wingeds, and there's one named Raven. She is the mother of wit, so she kind of created personality, meaning she's like of utmost importance of the wingeds. She is the second most powerful, besides Golden Eagle, Father of Death, and Arthur is the third most powerful, Father of Rebels. Yeah, he's what makes you rebel. Thank him for that. And Spencer knows there's a winged nearby, and he tries to contact them, but then he remembers that winged is Condor. You know, why everybody hates Condor is because Raven, one of the wingeds, and her sister Mockingbird went to go play a trick on him because he wished that he could meet death soon. He didn't want to, die. He wanted to die, heroically, but he wanted to live a good life but he was also on death's side, and he was praising him. So the girls play a trick on him. They say, oh yeah, we'll make you live a life that's worth living. And then Raven curses him with he won't die unless he is killed. She's evil, but not that evil. And then Condor gets angry and rips Raven to shreds. Then she was carried into the afterlife. And Mockingbird, because Condor observed some of Raven's magic, he laid the curse on her too, so she is eternally bound to him. And once he dies, she'll die. And yeah, she dies, he dies. Spencer finds Condor. Condor's like, come and join me, and we'll live happy lives forever. He's kind of based off the song Come Along by Cosmo Sheldrake. Like I said, that one belongs to this OC. That's the OC. Let's just say his voice sounds like that. And then he and Spencer get into a fight. And Spencer, who has ice magic, creates an axe. Yes, it's based off Wilderlore. And he takes an axe and he cuts off Condor's head. And then, but in the last moments of life, Condor doesn't get anything fancy getting taken to the afterlife. He just falls through the ground. He grabs Spencer and drags him down with him. And the Bird Council, in one of the drawings the drawing that was previously the first one on the screen, the Bird Council made of dead wingeds, they see Spencer fall through the ground. But Arthur, last second, drops through the ground, picks up Spencer, and flies out. It sounds crazy, I know, but he lived. So Spencer is the only person to have survived the afterlife. But Condor, though being a winged, he does not enter the council because he's not considered one. And I forgot to mention, he's a sphinx. So he's not a winged anymore. He was a sphinx. He had the body of a lion, wings of a condor, and yeah, that's in the human head. That's basically it. So it's pretty cool. What else happens? So of course Heidi, she's like, Spencer, you literally killed my father. He created all of us. And Spencer's like, that man is filth. Nothing more than a filthy little bird. And I'm more of a winged than him. I wrote it in my notebook here. Let's see if I have the notes. And I do. But, so, he looks up the sky and he sees the storm coming. And when a winged dies, the sky will rain their blood. So he's getting drenched in all this blood coming down. And he says, like, if his blood matches mine, that goes to show he's not a real one. So he cuts open his wrist in the rain. No, not wrist, oh my god. His arm in the rain. And it trails down, and then Condor's blood is entering his system. So, diseases, but he says it's entering. He's not pure. And Heidi just, turns into a wyvern and is like, "You're filthy! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!" But then she realizes, wait. All that time, and I was raised to live with someone that wasn't pure. And she remembers all the time she had to, work to build altars and everything for Condor. She still can't let it go. But she knows she has to stay with Arthur and Spencer, because otherwise, her city was burned down. She has nowhere else to go. So she stays with them. Then Spencer realizes, wait, Rudy's gone. Where's Rudy? So Arthur's thinking, we know Rudy. She could possibly side with us. We need all the help we can get. Because, rebellion. So they go over to the Worm Kingdom and try to get Rudy to free Henrik, who she put in jail. Because she was like, yeah, you're wrong. You killed half my citizens. You're getting put in jail. What I mean by killed half her citizens is that he let Spencer stay. And then, Red Scales are angry. I know that's not funny, but it's funny to me. I get to laugh at the weird things that happen to my OCs. So Arthur's over here we need to free Henrik. Henrik's over here in jail dude, what happened to me? What happened? And then Heidi turns into a wyvern, and she's thinking, we need Rudy on our side. Rudy's fun. She likes me. And then Spencer gets on Heidi's back, and he's like, I proclaim that my mind is blanking, oh my gosh. So they get Henrik free, and they get Rudy on their side. Yay! And also Rudy's brother, who gets hung later by Spencer's aunt. The woman at the top left, her name is Rosie, and she's actually based off Queen Scarlet from Wings of Fire. Very nice, very nice, very nice. But they go back up. I think they meet a new character that I haven't drawn them yet, but I want them to meet a new character. And then they go up to the previous Red Scale Kingdom the Storm Drakes currently live. And Spencer just goes down and sits on his father's old throne, and he makes himself a crown of ice. He thinks, this is what I am. I am a king. I am a king and they are not. He believes he's better than everybody else. Oakley, now knowing of Spencer's arrival, is furious, and he thinks, everybody go kill him. Don't care who you are, what you've done, your relationship to me, just go kill Spencer. So he's got the entire world against his back, including the Corpse King, because he entered the afterlife but left. And then down at the Bird Council, we have Raven, who's plotting evil things, and then Jay, the blue guy, is like, well, we have a winged, but he's not in our council, so who are we going to substitute with? Raven goes, we know a boy. His name is Spencer Icegate, and he'll free us. He'll let us live. He's the best, and he'll do anything for us. Free us as in letting them reckon over the earth. And of course, Spencer's over here plotting on his throne, thinking, how do I take the downfall of my father? as any normal guy should do. Spencer's been mistaken for a girl one too many times, I believe. That came out of nowhere, but it's true. You see, on the screen, he has short hair, but in reality, his hair is, like, down to his waist. And also, he's really tall. So, yeah. There's a little gap in the story, but they get captured, actually, by Red Scale soldiers and brought to Oakley. And Arthur's put in a cage, like a little bird he is. And then Oakley, at some point, has dinner with Heidi, Rudy, and Henrik, and he says, you know, a worm has never been in this castle, and a wyvern have never been in this castle. And he looks at Henrik and goes, but it's still the storm drake I'm worried about. Because, you know, Henrik rebelled against Oakley, and then he got his antlers cut off. Yeah. And Arthur is dragged in a cage, and he's like, free Spencer! And then, you know, he kind of spoils that Spencer likes Heidi. And Heidi's just like, dude, in front of his dad. In front of his dad. Come on, dude. So, eventually they end up in the throne room, and Spencer's held out in front of him. And Oakley, okay, this is based off the song Bone Crown. So, of course, he says, burn the forest, burn down everything, burn the earth. And then, in the theme of the song, when, I don't know who it is yells, but they all go, ah! Just imagine that, as the Corpse King, rising out of his chair, holding up his fist, and screaming out to the sky. And he says, like, I command a reckoning! And all the wingeds fly up into the world, and you know what they do? They slaughter all the Red Scale soldiers who are burning down the forests. Though the forests do light a flame, they just come down and rip them limb from limb, tearing at them, clawing, picking them up, throwing them, anything they can do, tearing them, eating them alive. Anything, absolutely anything. Meanwhile, Spencer's over here, and he's fighting his dad as a dragon. They're both dragons. I know they don't really transform that much, but just imagine they're just big red dragons of skywings, basically just skywings, and they're fighting each other for just in the throne room, just back to back. And then Arthur, oh my gosh, no, Oakley cracks Spencer's spine in half, and Spencer, like, suffocating, or, like, dying, like, freezes Oakley alive. Boom. His dad's dead. But thanks to the necklace Spencer has, he's still alive. But he is suffering so much. In the other room, Heidi, Rudy, Henrik, and Arthur are fighting Spencer's aunt. Well, Arthur's not really fighting. He's trying to get out of his cage. Thankfully, when Rosie, her tail hits his cage, and then he flies off, and it breaks on the ground, and he flies out, and he tries to meet Spencer. You know, Spencer's crawling. He's like, I gotta help my friends. Gotta help them. Raven, he just comes in, and she goes, Spencer, you have a throne awaiting you. So Spencer crawls back to the throne, his real throne, and he sits on it, and his breaths are so, like, shaky, and he's like, and Raven's over here like, how does it feel to be a king of a kingdom that wants your head down on the ground and covered in blood? Spencer can't respond because he's dying, and then Arthur comes in, and he's like, no, this can't be happening. He picks up Spencer. Spencer's over here, dying, bleeding out. He, like, holds him along the chin, and he smiles, and then he's dead. Wingeds have come in. The Corpse King has arrived. And over here he is, awaiting Spencer's death, ready to take him in as part of the council. And there's Vulture, the carrier of all the dead Wingeds. And he holds out his hand. And Arthur thinks, I can't let Spencer die like this. So he takes off the necklace that keeps him alive. Okay, I know he said he dies earlier, but he only dies when the necklace is off. So Arthur has to let him die. So he gives Spencer to Vulture, and then he and the Corpse King walk away. Slowly, though, all the Wingeds leave. And Arthur is over here, and he begins to crouch, and he's crying. Everything that he has had left. He was a million years old, taking care of this earth for as long as he could. Everything he tried, and it all failed. Spencer was merely a drop in the ocean that all the lives he'd cared for. But that drop meant so much more than an entire tide. Arthur thinks, couldn't care less if the world was burning right now. Spencer would be happy. And crying, then he laughs a little, thinking Spencer would be laughing if he could see my face right now.